Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm here with Gavin Coles, and today we're going to be talking about navigating an accelerated hybrid program. So without further ado, Gavin, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're at in your journey now, and what got you into physical therapy.
Hey, cool. Yeah, I'm Gavin Coles. I am a student at South College DPT in Knoxville, Tennessee. So, a little bit about me is my journey started back in high school when I started deciding if I was going to be in sports medicine because I've done sports all my life. And so, we had academies at my high school. So, I was in the sports med academy. And then shortly after that, I went into junior college to play baseball all my life. And then I just did general studies in junior college. And then when I transferred to an NAI school, I still play baseball there. That's when I got into pre-physical therapy. And then while I was at my junior college, my older brother, he used to be a think nursing recruiter. And then he decided that he wanted to do a little more with his life. So he walked into PT. He also went to South College. So once he went through that program and me kind of seeing him grow through that and the PT is now, it really inspired me to, well, not inspire, well, it did inspire me, but it like solidified that I wanted to do PT because I look up to him a lot.
Yeah.
He's a PT now he's on the PGA tour. I think he volunteers with the USA weightlifting team,
Oh,
Olympic weightlifting team. And I don't know what he's doing yet, but he's got some plans for open. He had his own clinic when he first got out of college,
yeah,
and I think he wants to open another one, but he just had to kind of put it to the side, his original one, just because he got on the tour. So
yeah,
now he's doing that. So like I said, I really look up to him. So that's a little bit a big role in why I definitely chose to be in PT. And yeah, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it for the world. It's been really, even though I'm still in school right now, I'm really passionate about what we're learning
yeah,
and I enjoy what we're learning and I keep an open mind. I definitely think I'm gonna be an ortho bro,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I keep my mind open to a lot of different settings. At the end of my career, I want to look back and say I was well rounded, wasn't closed off to anything. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I definitely want to explore different things throughout my career.
Yeah. That might have been the coolest "What's your why" story like I've heard. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks.
So, a little bit about your background. You're coming from a pre-physical therapy background. What is
hmm
you're currently at South College? Can you tell us a little bit about like what the format is, whether it's hybrid, accelerated, both? What does that kind of look like?
Okay, yeah. So it's both what you said. It's hybrid and accelerated. So what our format pretty much is we are pretty much 8 or 9 weeks, depending on the quarter of online work. And so that online work consists of Zoom. So every quarter we'll have class. I'm in Central Time, so I usually have class at 11 and 2, but depending on the semester, you might have one class on Tuesday, one class on Thursday, and then this quarter we have one class on Mondays. But every other day from Monday to Thursday, you have two classes.
Nice.
And then outside of the online meetups, we do a lot of assignments, as you probably imagine. We do
Mhm.
quizzes, we do the hands-on assignments. So it's just, again, depends on what class, but we'll do hands-on stuff, record it. We may do it multiple times throughout the semester just to reinforce some of the material. And then Fridays, we have tests. So that may be one or two tests, again, just depending on the week. But I think those are also at 11 and 2. So that 11 to 2 schedule is really consistent. There's never really a time besides final week where we might take the test at a different time. And then other than that, I think what was the other? Oh, it's accelerate. Yeah. So we do. I think most traditional programs are 3 years. We do it in two, and there's a lot of challenges that come with that. But it is definitely, I would say, doable. But everybody's different. But I know for a lot of my classmates, it's become a thing where like you can do it if you put your mind to it, for sure.
That's awesome that you get to be in the field sooner and like that flexibility.
Yeah, that's the big reason why we had to do a little intro bio whenever we met our classmates, and a
Yeah.
lot of them were like, I want to have my degree in 2 years. So that is definitely a big reason why a lot of people do this program.
Yeah. So what would you say and I went to a traditional 3-year program, so we can kind of compare and contrast them. So what would you say the biggest difference between a hybrid program like you're in versus an accelerated program? Is it more of just like online classes, some like online, and then you have immersions? Can you tell us a little bit more about how the immersions go and what that might look like for someone who's applying to a hybrid program?
Yeah, so yeah, after that 8 or 9 online work, we all physically go up to Knoxville and we have lab anywhere from 1 week to 3 weeks. It just depends on the semester. I know our 1 week lab immersion is going to be in next quarter in quarter 5, and that's going to be a week long right before our first rotations. So we do, most of us are going into acute care, so they try to get pretty much the whole week is dedicated to acute care practices. And other than that, a lot of the lab immersions are probably close to 2 weeks, 3 weeks long. The longest one we had was 3 weeks, which was last quarter. And interesting thing about that is it's Sunday to Saturday. Like you don't get a day off really. You might
Okay.
have a few half days. Yeah,
Yeah.
you might have a few half days, but it's pretty busy. And I
Yeah.
remember in the first quarter, I was like, man, I'm excited that we get to. This was my first time
Yeah.
outside of seeing my brother being in Knoxville, so I was like, man, I can't wait for the weekend.
Yeah.
And then I found out that we have school on Saturday and Sunday. So
Yeah.
it's
That's
it's
crazy.
definitely weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, you lose track of time too. I mean, some days you just can't believe it's Saturday. You can't believe you're in the middle of the week. So it's really easy to lose track of time. But
Yeah.
outside of that, I think versus the traditional programs, I'd say the only thing that I know that I wish I had from a traditional program is just being able to, I would say, access facilities and practice hands-on a little more. You really do have to rely on maybe friends, or if you still live with family like myself, I still live with my parents and my brother's still home too, or my younger brother is still home. So I do have them to do my videos and practice. Whereas I think a traditional program, I know a few people who are in a traditional one that do have to do video assignments like we do, and they can have quicker access to classmates. And I know a few of my classmates live in Knoxville, but everywhere else, we're scattered from the East Coast to the West Coast. So I think that's the one big thing that I wish was a little more accessible, was just having closer contact with my cohort.
Yeah. And that's a great point that you made. Actually, one of our questions was how to navigate the immersions with like just throughout the semester instead of waiting until the immersions, but you answered it while just practicing with people in your immediate surroundings. Do you have like a treatment table at home or you just kind of do everything on the couch or the floor?
Oh yeah, so they advised us to get a treatment table, which I did get, but some people I mean, I'm not saying they couldn't get it, but some people didn't get theirs
Yeah.
early in the program. So we do a lot of at South, we do peer reviews, but we do get it graded by one of our professors.
Oh
But we
wow.
do peer reviews just to see each other
Yeah.
and what we may have missed, just to learn from each other or critique or give constructive feedback to other classmates. But what comes with that is you get to see a lot of people. Like I've seen beds
Yeah.
and couches and countertops even.
Oh,
So
huh.
yeah, whatever's accessible if
Yeah.
you don't have a table, but they'll definitely say something in our sync sessions when we meet in class and be like, yeah, I think some of you may want to get a treatment table. Not that the countertop's not worked, but or
Yeah.
not that the countertop doesn't work, but
Yeah.
it's going to be hard to do MMT on a counter all the time or
Yeah.
measure range of motion and all that. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny. We definitely joke about it. They're never being like over serious. They're definitely crack jokes with us about it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I would definitely get a treatment table if possible.
That's super interesting. That's something you
Yeah,
wouldn't think of in a traditional program, but that's pretty cool. You guys
no,
do that.
no, it's funny. There's a lot of funny stuff we see.
Yeah. Do you see like any dogs or any like pets in the back?
Yeah, I have had that happen to me. My dog has run under the table a couple of times. I hate it, but I have to put him up sometimes, and he's super curious. So
Yeah.
he's just always peeking around the corner when we
Oh,
put him in his cage. So it's funny. Yeah.
that is really cool. What are some tips you have for managing your time in that accelerated program?
Yeah. So my biggest thing has been learning to say no, especially when you want to go somewhere. I I give a little background story. Whenever I was in undergrad, I've been away from home for a long time up until now. And it was really something big for me that when I got back home, I was going to hang out with my friends a lot more. And I have gotten to see them more, but it's been pretty limited. I know I'll go out maybe once a week, sometimes twice a month. And that seems like really extreme, but sometimes it's that hard just because you have a lot of things to do, especially with the program being accelerated. Not necessarily that it's hybrid, but the accelerated part, it demands a little more of your time. And honestly, I think saying no and sacrificing some time just to get some stuff done is really beneficial. And then outside of that, just time management wise, I know one thing that I try to do is get a lot of assignments done at the beginning of the week. So we usually have most of our assignments open up either Sunday or Monday, like quizzes and our video assignments. So if you can get those done early, because we usually have a test every week. So if you can get those done early, you have more time to study, you have more time to focus on the new material, because a lot of times you're testing on material from last week and a couple weeks before, and this week you're learning whole new material that you don't want to get behind on. So it's really beneficial to try to get a lot of stuff done in the beginning of the week. Does that happen every week? No. Like prime example is right now. There's some stuff I'm behind on right now
Yeah.
that I have to catch up on from last week, but it's not tested on this week, but it's just one of those things where if you do get behind, just try to look at a little bit of stuff, even if it's a little bit behind. So that's that's another thing. And I think another time management thing I would say is probably waking up a little earlier than usual and getting on that routine.
Yeah.
I know that in undergrad, I didn't really have class till like 9 or 10. So I would wake up 8:15. And then with being an athlete too in college, it was like I need that extra rest. So I can't get up at 6:30 every day. And I
Yeah.
know some people get up at 5 and 5:30. That's not my thing either. Like 6:30 is the perfect time for me.
Yeah.
So that's usually when I get up now. But yeah, getting up early is and giving yourself like an hour for yourself, and then I don't know, going to the gym, going on a short walk, just getting going early gives you a lot more time because I found that there's not enough hours in the day.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, so much respect for being in an accelerated program that takes like a certain level of discipline and being able to stick it out for the long run, which is 2 years, which seems short, but it goes by like if the days feel long, but the years are short.
Oh yeah, it's flying by. I mean, I can't believe after this quarter we'll be halfway done. So it's surreal to be honest.
Yeah, that's awesome. And there are a lot of athletes that go into physical therapy. How do you feel like being an athlete prepared you for physical therapy school now?
I love this question. Yeah, so I think actually wrote this in one of my PT cast essays, but I talked about how being an athlete because you're also on maybe not as extreme schedule as this.
Mhm.
Some people are though. Some people are on an extreme schedule, but you learn in undergrad and maybe even if you didn't play college ball that you had experience with this in high school
Mhm.
is you learn to get things done because it's really hard. I'm sure people know this. It's really hard trying to do an assignment on a road trip when you could have done it at the house, or it's
Yeah.
really hard to do your assignment that's due on Saturday when you're playing a doubleheader that day, or you're doing other things like practice. And when
Yeah.
you get done with that, you're just really tired. So I think learning to say, okay, I got to get this done before practice. I got to get this done before our weekend games or our midweek games. That really helped with now. And it hasn't made it easier, but it does feel like it's something I've done before.
Mhm.
But overall, I would say I think that experience as an athlete really helped carry a little bit of this load when we got into the program.
Yeah. And all the skills like the time management, the urgency, just giving yourself like deadlines too, I think was helpful. Even when I was going through school, like I would make it like I need to finish this assignment before I eat this ice cream or something, where it's just like that mentality
Yeah.
was helpful.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a good motivator too. I use that for TV shows sometimes.
Yeah.
So I like that one.
Yeah. That was the only other question I have was what piece of advice would you have for someone that's just about to start their hybrid program? Maybe it's accelerated, maybe it's not.
Okay. Yeah, I would say, oh, okay, yeah. I would say for the hybrid program, don't get too caught up in the freedom. That can be a trap because you're not meeting at class physically in person. You're not at school all day. I think whether you're in a hybrid program or hybrid and accelerated, I don't know what other accelerated ones are out there besides Baylor, but I'm sure there's some out there.
Yeah.
But I would say that I would make sure you're doing school like a lot of most of your day.
Yeah.
And I know I'm different than some of my class. I mean, everybody will probably tell you they have a different schedule, but
Hmm.
I know that my schedule, like I take different breaks throughout the day, and some other days I might be doing a lot of work in the morning, take a short break midday, and then I might do a little bit of work after, and then after class I take a break, school, break, school. So it's just dependent on the student, but don't let that freedom because you can get behind really quick,
Hmm.
especially if you're an accelerated program. But even if you're not an accelerated program, it's nice there's the perks of being home and having a little more freedom in your schedule, but just not getting too caught up in that because it can be really easy to get behind.
Yeah. No, that's awesome advice because it's kind of like the pro is also the con, but there's ways to make it work either way.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Thank you so much, Gavin, for sharing your insight and your story. I'm sure this is going to be helpful for so many students.
Yeah, I hope so. And if you are going into a hybrid or accelerated program, feel free to reach out to me. I love talking school, and
Yeah.
I this is something I wish I had whenever I was in undergrad because I really didn't know how to navigate through school. And I think it's great what you're doing as far as your page because you're touching like a plethora
Thank
of
you.
different topics that a lot of people are looking for. And so I think it's really helpful. So I know I'm appreciative as a student for what you're doing. So I know people that aren't in PT school yet are too. So